Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to those two geeks. It is Alex, Joe, and Matthew this afternoon, whenever you're listening to it. I had a plan with how I was going to run that intro, and it lasted until about that moment. So, welcome back to the show. Hey, at least we knew who was doing the intro this week.
Yes.
I think the last 3 or 4 episodes we just sit there in awkward silence or
yeah,
whatever.
and we both blurted it out. Yeah.
Exactly. Matthew, I feel like it's been
Ages.
I mean, we were obviously just talking, but I feel like it's been a lot longer since we've had you on a recorded show. So how are you doing?
Well, I'm here whenever you need me. Clearly, you guys have been rocking and rolling and strutting and strolling and having an awesome string of episodes without me. So
yeah,
here as a fan and enjoying myself.
Well, good. In fairness, we did try and record an episode last week, but me, slept through everything completely. Joe phoned twice.
He did. And I was very proud of Joe. He was very persistent.
I was proud of me too. It's hard.
Yeah, no, and again, like I apologize to both of you then, and I'll do it now. Like I was coming off about a COVID, and apparently I needed a solid 12 hours sleep.
Jesus.
Did not realize it was COVID related.
Yeah, I mean, I was coming out the end of it, so I was doing all right. But at that point, I think I just went to sleep and slept through everything. So that was fun.
So I must ask you the question I ask everybody when I find out they have COVID, which is, can you pinpoint who gave it to you, where you were, and when it happened?
Oh, this time, absolutely not. I think the only times I have been able to pinpoint it was the very first time we got it, because where we are, everything was still so locked down. So the people we were around were very limited.
Right.
Now, who gave it to that person? We have no idea. I think the second time my wife took it home from work, and the 2 times after that, it was because we were in an airport, and by the time we got back, we're like, oh, yep, no, at least one of us is definitely sick. This time was just all of a sudden we were all feeling rough, and we don't know who gave it to who and whatever. It is what it is. I think it's a fact of life that it's going to be around. It's
like the flu now, right? It's just a seasonal virus that everybody's going to get.
Exactly. I have every intention of getting as many boosters as they have available, because
absolutely
after the first one, it was horrific. Because we've been boosted since then, every other one's been relatively manageable. I was due for a booster around this time, and so I think this one hit me a bit harder than it would have otherwise. But I mean,
well, now you should wait a few months.
I will 100% wait a few months. But yeah, it's just one of those things, right? Like where as long as you take your steps to manage it, you're able to, if you're lucky and able enough to rest through, then that's all you can do.
Well, I'm glad you're feeling better.
Same.
Even if you stood us up last week, I'm very glad you're feeling better.
That was a pretty good stand up too. Like I don't even think I woke up. I wouldn't have even woken up in time to record a short episode. It was very much a case of I slept through. Like
it just worried me, because that is so unlike you. You're the most.
Oh, I know.
But then I wasn't too worried, because I was confused, because I kept seeing it saying you were available right now, but you would still weren't in. Yeah, you were like straight up available. That's why I called you twice.
Oh,
it said available now. And I'm like what in the world? But then it would say
weird.
Available 8 minutes ago. You know what I mean? And then I call you again. So that's the reason I called you.
No, and that's totally fair. Like, and I said to Mandy after, so Joe tried to call you. Said, yeah, I feel bad. And she even if you had have woken us up, it wouldn't have been a bad thing, because clearly people are worried about the fact that you've done what you don't normally do and sleep through that long.
Like I'm known to maybe sleep and be like, oh crap, I missed 20 minutes. Can we start? And, that's me. But you know.
Like usually, if I'm running late, I've let you know in advance. Hey, I'm going to be late for a bit. Never would I sleep through it that long. So,
see, what I like though is that we've proven that, Alex, you have such a stellar reputation for punctuality and professionalism, that the one time something like this happened, we didn't assume you slept through it. We just assumed you might have died and been murdered in a ditch somewhere.
And
so,
you know what? I appreciate that. That's my reputation. That you went from, oh, he probably slept through it, to, oh God, I hope he's okay. So I appreciate that as a reputation.
Absolutely. You should sometimes things like this happen to remind us to take stock in what we've built for ourselves. And I think this is your moment, Alex, to get a little bit of flowers for just how wonderful a podcast host you are in general.
We do
try.
Amazing.
He is amazing. But since we're just quote unquote shooting today.
Shooting the proverbial.
Shooting the proverbial poop. Shooting the shit. We swear on this show.
That's true.
Basically, has anyone seen the extra scene that was filmed at the end of Deadpool where Gambit survives?
No, I have not seen this. I have not even heard about this. Tell me, Joe.
I didn't send it to you. I thought I sent it to the jam session. So basically, Ryan Reynolds did a couple scenes for people. So this, I guess, is the scene that's playing in the background on the TVA monitors when Ryan Reynolds at the very end, well, not Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool at the very end of the movie is proving that Chris Evans got himself killed with his mouth. And he's like, got you. You know what I mean? So on one of the tiny monitors in the background, there's a scene of Gambit. Now, I noticed it the second time around because I looked for it. I saw it, but it's so freaking tiny. You just see like Gambit. You can make him out. But there's an actual scene filmed, and it was on X. Basically, it shows Gambit amongst everyone all fallen, like all the soldiers, all the bad guys. And then he turns around and you see the ring, Doctor Strange's ring in his eye, like the big Marvel Sparkles ring, that the portal. Right. And his eyes go orange and it plays the music. So basically the tagline with it too, with the post, because it came from Van City Reynolds' accountant himself. It came from Ryan Reynolds. Sure. He was like, oh, just so if everyone was wondering, now we can get the cat out of the bag. Basically, Channing Tatum's Gambit survived, which is, thank God, because that was
it makes sense because he wants to do he's really hoping this is his backdoor into a solo Gambit.
I don't know if he's gonna get a solo, but he's in Secret Wars.
I think is that confirmed, or are you jumping to that conclusion?
No. There's been like so many accounts. There's a guy named Daniel RPK who he's basically broke all the leaks for like since Spider-Man No Way Home, and everything's been spot on. Like everything's been spot on. He broke almost all the Deadpool leaks. I didn't look at any of those, but when I went back and looked at them, they were all spot on too. And all the Doctor Strange leaks, like everything. So we're getting Gambit in Secret Wars. We're getting Blade 2. And obviously you already have they've already confirmed that X-23 Lara is in Secret Wars in the next Avengers movie. She's confirmed, like officially. But what's it called? The only one who isn't confirmed yet is Elektra. But Blade and Gambit made it. So Snipes is Blade and Gambit. And then the word,
you mean the one and only Blade, the one that there ain't ever gonna be no Blade besides him.
Yeah, that made me laugh so hard.
I know, but that wasn't like, I guess that wasn't meant the way it was that we all took it. Like the dig that at people took it as a dig at Mahershala Ali. It wasn't. It was more like a dig at the studios, I guess. Because he's a big supporter of Mahershala Ali. Like he's like, get this Blade movie made. He's like, why do you people not want this made? You know what I mean? He's touched that people are glad that he's been in their minds so long as Blade, but he's like, don't miss out on a movie because of me. Like, are you guys idiots type deal? But
I can't see Wesley Snipes doing movies for a huge amount of time. I can see him doing
an appearance in Secret Wars, and like
I think it all depends on how much cash the man needs.
Yeah,
valid.
I think he's good for the next couple appearances, but that's it. And then
just remember, this is a man who went to jail for tax evasion.
That's right.
I forget that
He still started the Marvel MCU, so I give him all his credit. Tax evasion aside.
I mean,
look, people make mistakes.
That's right.
And he paid for his mistake in theory.
He made a mistake, Blade Trinity, and he went to jail for it. So that's the way I look at it. That was a bad joke. Someone will take that seriously.
I was not going to touch that joke with a 50-foot pole, my friend. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I know
I was quietly not saying anything.
What I will say is I have never seen Blade Trinity. My partner, though, is trying to get me to watch it just so I could sort of see the genesis of Deadpool, of Ryan Wilson as Deadpool. Ooh. So we may end up doing a Blade watch through shortly.
Honestly, it's worth watching for that reason, because you get to see how Ryan Reynolds is. Yeah, that's irrelevant. Like you get to see how Ryan Reynolds clearly campaigned to have his character or become Deadpool, because if he's been looking to play him for quite a while. So you watch Blade Trinity.
Hannibal King is Deadpool without a suit. It
100%. Yeah, because it's Ryan Reynolds trying to be Deadpool.
Yeah, he's not bad in it. The movie just overall is like what? But I mean, he's not bad, and Wesley Snipes isn't bad in it either. It's just the movie is Drek. But I mean, hey,
it's one of those things where you try and talk about, people say, oh, but the movie sucks. Be that as it may, there are at least a few good performances in it. Like there is so many movies that are made like, well, so and so is really good in a shit movie. Like you can still be good even if the movie isn't great.
So, okay, let's run down some examples. What are other shit movies where someone though is really, really, really good in it?
Oh my God! Fine. If I'm gonna
X-Men Origins Wolverine.
There you go.
Batman and Robin. X-Men Origins Wolverine, I think, is better than Blade Trinity. I've rewatched it currently, for sure.
Now wait, who is excellent in Batman and Robin?
Uma Thurman.
Okay. I'm gonna go a deep cut here. So I'll be very intrigued to see if you both know this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go Russell Crowe in Virtuosity.
I've never seen
either of you ever seen Virtuosity?
Nope, never seen it.
Gentlemen, and dear listeners, please go out of your way to see this absolute train wreck of a serial killer thriller that is one of Russell Crowe's very first U.S. movies. It stars Denzel Washington and Russell Crowe, and what it is about a convict played by Denzel Washington, who is of course a former cop, who basically is a guinea pig in the penal system for a VR serial killer program to help cops train on how to resolve dangerous situations with violent felons and profile and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
And then the serial killer program, who is played by Russell Crowe, ends up getting out in the world and going on a killing spree. And now Denzel, who's the only cop who's ever done well in the program, apparently, has to track him down in real life. And Russell Crowe, essentially, this program is called SID and is an amalgamation of every serial killer of all time. It is a train wreck with a really fun premise.
Yeah.
And Russell Crowe is just like chewing all the scenery he possibly could and having a blast in it. I think it was from like 96, 97.
95.
95, thank you.
Yeah.
Back when Hollywood was really good at making very fun, bad movies. The 90s were just a boon time for really fun, bad movies. This is absolutely one of them. Highest of recommendations to see just once.
Yeah,
I'll watch it. I'll give it a go.
I'll check it out. I'll give it a go. So, X-Men Origins Wolverine, Liev Schreiber.
Yeah. I mean,
good call.
Liev Schreiber, Hugh Jackman too. Like, there's a couple of really good performances.
Hugh always gives his all. He always gives his all.
So that's why I wouldn't even count that. Who else was a couple of good performances? I say Liev Schreiber though, for sure.
I would be if Schreiber in there. Yeah. I mean, would you
But
not
who
say
else, Alex?
Ryan Reynolds had a good
I
spotlight?
would. Yeah,
Oh
Ryan
yeah,
Reynolds
but
is
he was
really
literally
good.
a cameo though, right? He was. I mean, he was the beginning in the elevator, which was great, and
The
then
guy playing the Blob, whose name I can't remember.
oh yeah,
I
the guy who played, he was good too. You're right.
Yeah, I enjoyed him.
I thought Taylor Kitsch was good until I saw Channing Tatum's Gambit. It's the night and day, and it's nowhere. Yeah, no.
I mean, Taylor Kitsch was okay.
Yeah, he's no
Yeah.
Channing Tatum. He's no Channing Tatum.
Yeah,
Nope.
like I would rate Will.i.am higher than Taylor Kitsch.
And Joe,
Will.i.am,
I
who was he
appreciate your
supposed to be?
distinction. I appreciate
Kevin Durand was the Blob.
was the Blob. Thank you. And Joe, I appreciate your
Yeah.
distinction. We should not be counting cameos. We should be counting like full on either supporting or lead performances here.
Yeah.
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Mm-hmm.
Because cameo is almost like cheating. You can always you can be good for 30 seconds in any movie.
Yeah,
like
and
the Gambit was not a cameo, and like that's what Alex and I were talking about. The Deadpool people that came in, you know, the heroes, they weren't cameos. They were a lot longer than I thought. They were performances.
They were. I think they must have been 10 minutes on screen.
At
like
least,
actually on screen.
Oh, for
but
sure.
You had a lot more than that after the fact. So like they were in the movie almost as long as Beetlejuice was in the original Beetlejuice.
Yeah, which is still blowing my mind, Matthew. Did you know this that Michael Keaton was only Beetlejuice in 17 minutes of the original film total?
See, that makes sense to me. I don't now I will say it's been a long time since I've watched Beetlejuice, but I do remember feeling like he was not in it that much. So
see, I feel the opposite. I feel like he was in like but this is probably my kid brain because it's been a very long time since I watched it. My brain is like, oh, he was in the whole movie, you know, but no, really the lion's share was carried by Winona Ryder.
Yeah,
and the lion's share
he's in all the memorable parts of the movie.
Yeah,
right. And like his presence was felt across the entire film, but he was definitely not in it as much as you think.
Jenna Ortega will carry the lion's share in this one because if he's in it for 17 minutes. Again, they did it on purpose.
Sure.
Which
fine. Wait, I got one. I got a great performance in a bad movie.
Please.
Margot Robbie in Suicide Squad.
Hell yeah! Which one?
Yeah.
No, don't say
the original, the first one.
Okay, good man.
Yeah, because I was going to argue that.
No, I said Suicide Squad, not the Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad is so much better.
It's so It's so much fun. But no, Margot Robbie in Suicide Squad. Great performance, terrible movie.
God, absolutely. Would you give Will Smith a great performance in that movie?
Will Smith
he played Will Smith though.
Yeah, Will Smith was okay, but you could have interspersed him with any of his. Like you could have put him in the guy from Independence Day, right? Like there wasn't anything really that different. It wasn't.
Idris Elba was way better.
Thank you. That's
I totally agree.
Yeah. No, I just watched the Suicide Squad the other day, and I had a friend. He's the biggest supporter of the Snyderverse in the world, and like he despised the James Gunn's The Suicide Squad like in every way. And I'm like, dude,
just on principle?
No, he just said it's like he broke it down. He's a very, very like cerebral person, and he's like, this movie is so bad. I'm like, how is it? It's so bad. Like Starro, I'll agree, was kind of like, I was a little let down by Starro, but just the interplay between Peacemaker and Bloodsport, and then you've got Margot Robbie's best scenes as Harley. Well, I loved her in the original Suicide Squad for those scenes.
Yeah.
But her scene when she breaks out of her cuffs in the Suicide Squad, and then all of a sudden she comes down the stairs after she's killed everyone, and all of a sudden Flag and Bloodsport are trying to go up the building, and she's like, "Oh my God, what are you guys doing?" And they're like, "We're going to save you." "You are?" And you're like, "Yeah, and it was a really good plan too. I can go back inside if you want." And they're like, "No." Like James Gunn just got it. I feel he got the character better than David Ayer. I really do. And like my buddy was trying to argue that Jared Leto's a really good Joker, and I'm like, no.
Like your buddy's right about quite a few things, I'm sure, but that is
Jared
not
Leto Joker. No. And he
No.
tried to explain to me that Leto's Joker is a Joker who's been Joker for 20 years. It's a Joker that's lost his smile. He went Shawn Michaels, so to speak. So he's not like outwardly funny. But I'm like, he's just not outwardly good.
No, he's not.
Like, he's good at the end of the Snyder Cut with the Justice League when he's, got
With
all the
cameo?
badges. And
Sure.
yes, he's good with the cameo. But his performance in the original Suicide Squad, shitty as hell. Shitty as hell. I guess we'll give it to Viola Davis too in the Suicide Squad. She's always
good call. Good call.
She's freaking great. She is Amanda Waller. Like, no one can touch that as far as I'm concerned. So, all right. I'm trying to think of another movie. I want to think of like a really corny one. Oh, go, man.
I got one.
This is a good topic.
Raul Julia in Street Fighter.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, hell yes.
Hell yeah.
Hell yes. That movie is so fucking bad. Even Jean-Claude Van Damme is bad in that movie.
I loved that movie as a kid. Like, I absolutely loved it. But you're absolutely right. It's terrible. Other than Raul Julia, it is terrible.
Raul Julia. That's a great.
Raul Julia was phenomenal in that thing. I think 100%. It was his last movie, too, before he died, before the cancer got him.
I thought so, yeah, it was.
Yeah. Again, another 90s movie that was just like, they knew how to make really fun, horrible films.
They did.
Speaking of really fun, horrible films from the 90s, Armand Asante as Rico in Judge Dredd.
Ooh, good call.
Good call. I was waiting for a Stallone one. I wanted to find a Stallone one. You found one. Good. Yeah.
See, I like Demolition Man way too much to put it on the list as a bad movie.
No, Demolition Man is...
That's a good movie.
I legitimately enjoy it.
I agree.
I think the issue with Judge Dredd is that it's so... it takes everything about the character, or one of the core things about the character, and just throws it away within the first 30 seconds, because Stallone had to have his face on film.
Right. Exactly. But
that's a good call.
I'll still say this, though. It was better than Dredd.
No, it was not.
Whoa. Time out. We're going to go on a tangent here. Joe, defend your position.
Yep.
Oh, Jesus, I had a nerve. That was like a needle scratch.
Defend your position, sir.
I don't know. I thought Stallone, I know it was because he had to show his face. I just like you said, I liked the performance in Judge Dredd as the villain, and I liked Stallone better as Dredd. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a Stallone guy. I do love Tulsa King and Rocky, so maybe that's my problem. And Jingle All the Way.
You know who doesn't love Tulsa King? The Crew. But
they don't.
I know. Apparently, Stallone was a total dick on set.
So good. It's probably not going to get a season 2. It's been too long.
Well, Taylor Sheridan, that's a whole other conversation about what a micromanaging control freak he is, and why none of his shows get multiple seasons anymore, because he's doing way too much.
But anyways, go back to Dredd. Yep.
So you, all right, Joe making putting the line in the sand here. Judge Dredd.
I'm making the line in the sand. I will rewatch them if I have to, but I'm making the line in the sand. Like, I like the Lawmaker. I like the way that, I don't know. I like the vibe of Judge Dredd. I don't know. Maybe it's because I was a kid. I don't know. But I do have another good movie, another good performance for a movie.
Hit me.
Well, I'll let you guys still flog me for the Judge Dredd thing. Keep going if you have to.
Do you know the only time in history that you have seen Judge Dredd's face?
Yeah.
It was in the Stallone movie.
I know.
Dredd has been around since the 80s, and he has never taken his helmet off.
I know.
So when I, look at the time, I thought it was fun, but looking at it now, as someone who's read a bit of Judge Dredd here and there,
sure, like, you son of a bitch.
When he takes the helmet off, I'm like, if it was anything but a Judge Dredd movie, if he was Judge Stallone, I would have probably taken that as a bit better.
Dude, that movie could totally be made Judge Stallone.
Judge Stallone.
But he's
Great.
Judge Dredd, who doesn't take shit, who is dry, who is, he's borderline. The law is the law, and this is God.
Yeah.
And never takes his helmet off. He never backs down. Right. And I think for me, Carl Urban embodied that so much better than Stallone. Like it's Carl Urban. I challenge you to find me a bad Carl Urban performance.
No, we haven't. We've tried this before. There isn't.
Right. So there is.
He's an excellent actor.
He is a great actor. Criminally underrated.
I totally agree with that.
And it's crazy, even with The Boys, he's still criminally underrated.
Yep.
Yeah, people don't talk about him nearly as much as they talk about Anthony Starr or
Anthony Starr. Yeah.
No, they don't.
Even though he is really like the beating heart and soul of that show is Carl Urban.
He is 100%. 100%.
No offense,
but
Jack,
no, the other movie I was gonna put in is what is it? William Baldwin. No, Alec Baldwin. I'm sorry, Alec Baldwin in The Shadow.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember hating The Shadow when I saw it. Now, I did see it a long time ago. And
it's been probably 25 years since I've seen it, so I can't judge that. Just based on how long it's been.
Yeah, like I rewatched The Phantom within the last 5-6 years.
That was the one I was going to bring up. That was Billy Zane, right?
Yeah, it was. I still really enjoyed The Phantom especially because of Billy Zane. I thought he was fantastic. I still really enjoyed The Phantom. So I wouldn't, I'd hesitate to put it on a list of a shitty movie.
How about Scorpion King? Let's find a good performance in that.
There's no good performance in that.
Hang on. Let me find
Rachel Weisz. No, she's not in it. Rachel Weisz.
She's not in it.
So no. Nope. Then never mind.
No, hang on. Let me see who's in it. I mean, Michael Clark Duncan's in it.
No.
Does not mean it's a good performance from Michael Clark Duncan.
No,
how did we skip that one, Alex? We watched it the other week. Daredevil.
Oh, Daredevil?
Yeah, Michael Clark Duncan is good in it.
He is good in that one.
Yep.
Now wait, did you watch the theatrical cut or the director's cut?
I watched the director's cut.
Yeah, director's.
Wow. That is the one everyone should watch.
It's the same as the Batman v Superman extended edition. That is a much better cut of the movie than the theatrical.
So much better.
But it does not make it a good movie in and of itself. It just means it's good in comparison to what came before.
Yes.
No, agreed.
I still maintain it. I love that movie. It's not a good movie,
there's nothing wrong with you loving that movie. It's like Matthew and I clearly really enjoyed Dredd, and you didn't.
There you go. For me, it's Ben Affleck in Batman v Superman. Yeah. There's a great performance and a horrible movie for me.
I would counter or add to that Jeremy Irons as Alfred. I really enjoyed his take on that version of Alfred.
A fantastic Alfred. I agree.
And Amy Adams is Lois. I love Amy Adams as Lois.
If she'd had anything to do in the movie that I saw,
she brought him.
She would have been
here.
All right. It's one of those. Yeah, it's one of those things where there are so many good moments in the film that I thoroughly enjoyed. So many good performances, but the plot itself was utter dread.
Yeah, she got Jimmy killed first 5 minutes. So
wait, Jimmy or Jenny? Wasn't there a Jenny?
Jimmy. Yeah, Jenny is in Man of Steel, which you will not put as a bad movie, sir. You will not put that as a bad movie.
I know people who will absolutely put that as a bad movie.
That is fine. I don't know these people. No way. No way. Man of Steel is so good. It started the EU out with like such a good start. And then Batman v Superman kind of dragged it through the mud. And then Wonder Woman saved it. Yeah, okay, it dragged it through. It dragged the corpse through the mud, kicked the baby a little bit. And what's it called?
Wonder Woman gave us hope.
Wonder Woman was fantastic. Fantastic.
Without
Wonder Woman 84. Whew,
I mean, Justice League dashed any hope that we had
correct
on the rocks and then threw them underneath. Like, I don't know if you folks have ever heard of a place called Peggy's Cove.
No, it's I know it.
Okay, so but Peggy's Cove is a really beautiful yet stark location in Nova Scotia, and there are signs everywhere saying "Stay off the black rocks." The black rocks are rocks that are soaking wet. They're just always wet.
Oh yeah,
because the waves come up, land on them, and then go down.
Stand on them, you're gonna snap your head. I have that at New Hampshire. Yeah.
Yeah, like you stand on them. You could be on them for like 30 seconds, and you'll.
I can vouch for this. I did this in New Hampshire, and I ended up in the ER.
Yeah. Whereas if you stand on them for too long, the waves will come and they'll take you right out. Now, when the waves take you, one of two things will happen. You'll go out into sea remarkably quickly, like you cannot swim against that current.
Yep.
Or are you eating?
No, I'm feeding the cat. I'm sorry.
Ah, fair enough. No, that's okay.
He's gonna start screeching.
No, that's fair. So the other thing that will happen is if you don't get taken out to sea, you get taken under the rocks, because the way it is like, imagine the top of like the letter F. The black rocks stick out, but they're it's like a shelf. So you can get taken under the rocks and you cannot get out. So if you decide to walk on the black rocks, there is a better than average chance if you're there long enough and the wave takes you, you're probably not going to get out of that.
Right. Now, if you're saying Joss Whedon's Justice League did that, you are
100% correct.
I couldn't remember
Zack Snyder's. You are wrong.
I think that by the time we got Snyder's Justice League, it was too late.
It was
without question, it was too late.
It was.
I also think Snyder's 4-hour Justice League was at least almost 45 minutes too long. And
correct.
You could have probably shaved. See, I think you could.
Then you wanted a mini series, sir, not a movie.
I did.
You didn't want a movie.
I did.
Like, you could have shaved about 40 minutes out of Snyder's Justice League by limiting slow motion.
Correct.
Like, if you'd have limited the slow motion to just the Flash and maybe a couple of other cool scenes, you would have saved so much time. And if you'd have taken out a couple of scenes toward the end, like the flash forwards or whatever,
right,
you also could have had that as an actual decent, if long, theatrical running time.
Yeah, you would have had about a 3-hour movie that would have been
more
bearable than that.
I concur.
But alas, we didn't get Snyder's Justice League initially, so we are now.
I'm still not laughing, but I hear you.
So I'm really glad, because we'll switch from movies. I'm glad we're stuck on the subject of performances, because we were chatting about this in the chat, and you two gentlemen were talking about Bo Dallas switching to wrestling as Uncle Howdy. This bothered me so much, and I'll explain why. They had arguably, as far as I can remember, maybe other than the NWO, we'll go with this one. But Matthew, or Alex, that opening scene when the Wyatt Six debuted in the backstage of Raw, and they shot that, and that was just out of nowhere, and no one was expecting it. When can you see a hotter opening for a faction than that? That was just done on every level with care, so well, so right.
I don't have enough knowledge to
Nexus
comparison.
No, I knew you were going to say Nexus. I don't think Nexus was. It was done very, very good. You're talking when Daniel Bryan.
It was an incredible debut.
Yeah, it was a great debut, and Daniel Bryan got suspended in real life for choking one of the announcers with a tie, which was.
How dare you forget the good name of Justin Roberts? That man has been with AEW for so long.
The Dapper Yapper. Yep. John Cena remembers. So does Pepperidge Farms. But no, I would agree with some of that. But I would say the Wyatt Six, that was breathtaking. I rewatched that so many times before they came back the next time. Now, everything they've done, I think Nikki Cross is the savior of the Wyatt Six. I think she's the one who's done the best work, even though she's done not much. But just the way her character is developed and the way she moves and everything, her presence is just so good. Like, I almost don't want to see her in the ring because I'm afraid of it getting ruined. Do you know what I mean? But Bo Dallas, I like Uncle Howdy. I thought the sit-down interview with himself was brilliant. Then they went into every week to week getting a VHS tape, which was not needed as far as I'm concerned. I don't know what you think, Matthew. I think it was overkill after the first couple of weeks. I don't think it's needed.
I think it all depended on how they did. What I did like is when Rowan got one.
Same.
Right?
I liked Rowan.
I liked was doing a VHS tape for each of the members so that we got to understand who each of them are as individuals and understand their motivations.
Right.
That's how I wish they could have kept the VHS tape going, because I don't think we really got a Dexter Loomis tape. We don't really have a Joe
we got
Gacy
a Dexter,
tape.
But
we did get a Dexter. You're right. We
Joe
did.
Yeah, we did. I don't know if we got a Joe
Nikki
Gacy.
got
I don't remember.
Nikki didn't get a proper VHS tape.
No, she didn't.
Where she like stays in the mask the whole time, but it was good. I liked it. So it's now become their visual motif for sort of backstage interviews, which is not a bad thing.
No, it's not.
Because they are switching it up a bit, right? Like Uncle Howdy or Bo Dallas's promo before the match, they use the VHS motif effectively. In the same way that they use the Firefly Funhouse, right? Like this VHS tape is their version of that now.
Right. The thing I had the issue with is, like, first of all, everyone loves this match. Everyone is raving about this match, how great it is. Like, everybody is raving about
Sorry, and what match are you
Chad
referring to?
Chad Gable and Uncle Howdy.
Sure. Just for the listeners,
it's a good match. My issue with it is it was way too back and forth. I'm not saying it should have been a squash, but Bo looked way too human in the match. And the other part, I know it was emotional for him because it was his first match back. It was right when his brother passed on the anniversary, like right around that anniversary, if it wasn't today. I didn't like the crowd pandering, like the hyping up of the crowd through Bo Dallas's character, Uncle Howdy. I like when he was like, "Come on," I don't know. It just all struck me wrong. Like, I was first of all, Bray Wyatt is so near and dear to me as a wrestler. He's one of my favorites, period. And I think I told Alex, I've never cried more for a man I've never met in my life than when Bray Wyatt died. It really hit me hard for like 3 or 4 days. I mean, I've gone through mental health issues and things like that. I've gone through the stuff. And it really crushed me when he passed away so suddenly. It really killed me. And I was very against anyone taking it over. I wanted them to retire the whole thing. I wanted it to be, no, the Fiend is not spoke of again and any of this, blah, 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 other than the tribute. But then I started seeing Bo Dallas talk about it more and more. And I still haven't seen the documentary for this reason. I think maybe I should see the documentary just to get more perspective.
It's a good documentary.
I don't want to cry. So I'm like, I don't feel like crying. So I have been pushing it off. But I like Bo Dallas a lot as Uncle Howdy. I think it has so much potential. I love the way he walks out. I love the whole Jack Sparrow, like esque way he does his movements. It's great. My issue is they started so hot. And I'm like, this is the hardest thing when you start that hot to maintain it and continue. But then they did what I said, because I on my podcast with my buddy Danelle, I said, and we're not going to cross promote, but my podcast, I said, they need to book them like monsters and just like shadows. They need to attack announcers. They need to attack people. They need to attack just everything in random. And then they attacked Pat McAfee, or they went after McAfee as a target. I'm like, oh my God, this is perfect. My whole thing is, don't relegate them to Raw. They should be going to move to NXT. They should be moving to SmackDown. There's factions everywhere. Just have them destroy factions. I guess the Bloodline would be off limits if you really wanted to, but everyone else should be fair game. They should be annihilating people. And then they slowed down, and then they scaled back. The thing that really lost me was when you saw Bo Dallas sitting in Adam Pearce's office that one time on Raw backstage. Like, he opens up the door and Adam Pearce is like, oh, I need a drink. And like, Bo Dallas is sitting there out of, Uncle Howdy character. Like, these people have been destroying your locker room, but you went in there calm and collected. Like, that's when they lost me. I was like, no, what the hell are they doing? It's like you're losing the mystique. And then it's like taking the helmet off Judge Dredd. That's the analogy I'm going to use. It's exactly that. It just makes no sense. Now, I know Bo isn't going to wrestle the same as Bray. He's a much more technical wrestler than Bray. I've watched him in NXT when NXT first started. He's a great wrestler. But my whole thing is, it was so back and forth. It made Chad Gable seem like, so if he struggled with Chad Gable, he's going to struggle with everybody, theoretically. So what makes him menacing anymore? Now, did you see, Matthew, when it was the rest of the Wyatt Six going against the Creed brothers? That was fantastic.
It was great.
Absolutely fantastic. That is the best debut of the Wyatt Six in the ring I've seen so far. Bo Dallas, I don't know. Maybe I'm being too harsh on it because I love Bray so much. But
I don't know. Like,
my buddy was there live and he loved it.
And that's the thing. Like, the crowd live went crazy, right?
God,
like, so I don't know that it's diminished. I think that it's an intriguing evolution. So I rewatched the match actually, and I was thinking about, because I figured we would end up talking about it, so to rewatch it, keep it fresh.
I think how Matthew knows me.
And so I was watching it, and I was thinking back to The Fiend, and a brilliant character with one quintessential flaw to that character, in that he was too powerful.
Oh yeah. When we're talking, he was so Rollins,
Daniel Bryan, The Miz, even Goldberg. No. He was so powerful that when you beat him, it rang completely hollow in any and every point.
Yeah.
But you also could not sustain him being a monster for 6-7 months, gobbling up every human being, because truly there was no way you could ever make you could not see that character sell or suffer in a way that was believable. And that was the main flaw with the Fiend.
Right.
And I feel like I could imagine part of what they're doing with the Wyatt Six is they've actually learned from that lesson, wherein they have been very clear that these are not 6 supernatural beings.
No,
they have made very clear that these are 6 damaged people who are experiencing grief and suffering and shame and are going to use that to propel themselves. And so I don't look at Bo Dallas, Uncle Howdy, as a supernatural being in the way that I did Bray Wyatt's to the Fiend.
That's a good point.
And so and let's be very clear, I like Bo Dallas, but Bo Dallas in and of himself is not a monster. It's not how he wrestles. It's not his body type.
Right.
It's not anything like that. So I agree. I think he maybe gave a little bit too much. I don't think it ruined it for me, but I do think he gave a little too much. But on the same point in time, there's a balance here, because Chad Gable has been built up for over a year.
He's phenomenal. He's a mini Kurt. He's Kurt Angle. He's the Kurt Angle.
Right. And if you just gobble up Chad Gable, then you make Chad Gable a nobody. And that's not fair to Gable either. So it's a challenge, right? It's a really big challenge they set up for themselves. So again, and you even hear it because Corey Graves would talk about, I wrestled Bo Dallas. This is a different being than Bo Dallas, right?
Yeah.
And it was because he won a match. But no offense to Bo, I don't think Bo would disagree. So it's one, but even like the Wyatt Six, when they came to interfere, they weren't wearing their masks. Like Rowan was unmasked, Loomis was unmasked, Gacy was unmasked. So they're doing this thing where they start like a monster, and they've got the mind games, right? And they've got this inner demon who is not actually a supernatural being
right.
in the way that the Fiend was. And let's be very clear, it was always going to be Bray Wyatt. The Fiend would have been the most powerful of the entities if it were. So I don't know. Like right now, I agree. It hit and it didn't hit for me. Right?
Same. It was very mixed. I didn't like it, but maybe I need to watch it.
It wasn't that I didn't like it. It just felt like and I said this in the chat, it still feels like it's a little work in progress for me.
Yeah.
But not in a way that I think it's derailed in any way, shape, or form. But I think that it's still a work in progress. And the reason it's not derailed is because, my gosh, look at that crowd. That crowd was in it for every single second.
Oh, they were. My buddy was there. He was like, "This is insane."
One of there are little nitpicky things. Like I think they need to figure out Bo Dallas's or Uncle Howdy's hair, the wig.
Big time. That wig was like, it's very distracting.
It's in his face too much. I don't know how he can have a great match wearing that damn wig. They need to rethink that. So that actually got distracting for me at a moment.
It did.
But
it did, me too.
I will say, what's funny though is you forget how big of a guy Bo Dallas is until you saw him in the ring. He's like 6'3", 6'4".
Yeah,
he's a big,
but it's crazy.
And Father Time has made him a little bigger around the midsection, so he's a little physically imposing than he used to be.
But it's weird because he's imposing, but like when you think Bray immediately, right? Bray had massive arms, and then when Bo Dallas takes the coat off, you're like, oh wow, and small arms.
And to your point, he can't be Bray, right? No, he can't. The fans would not accept it if he was just doing all the Bray stuff, the selling and everything like that. So it's challenging right now. I'm not out of the Wyatt Six, right? Like
I'm not out of it. No, I love the idea. I truly love the idea. It's just like I said, maybe it's just my bias because I love Bray so much, but to see it was like if you bought Bray from Wish, you know what I mean? That's how I felt. I was like, what the hell happened? Like it was just too much back and forth. Now, if these were any two other wrestlers that I saw, I would say the match was really good because it was constructed great. It's just for the concept of the Wyatt Six and Uncle Howdy, especially a debut. I'm like, what the hell? Why is he selling so much? Like,
what's interesting is like Bo Dallas, Uncle Howdy, up until this point, all he's done is sell. He gets jumped and he laughs in the face of it. I'm actually wondering if part of his character going forward, as far as in-ring work, is to take as much punishment as humanly possible,
like a Mick
laugh in the face of it, and then go in for the kill, in the sense of he is a being built on suffering and grief and pain. And so I almost wonder if he will just simply, the layouts of the match are almost Hogan-esque, where he's just going to sell and sell and sell and take all the pain, all the torment he can, and then overcome laughing in the guy's face, right? I could see that. I could see that being an avenue. I don't think they've made the determination yet, but you could do it. There's a story to be told there for that character. So we're going to see. We're going to see.
Now, Alex, you've been a little quiet, so we'll switch to the other side of the wrestling coin. AEW, have you watched any of that? Any of the things since?
No, if you haven't, don't worry. Most of the audience hasn't either, apparently.
So here's the deal. If you guys listened to the thing I sent you, I was so over the moon with Bryan being champ. I still am. I'm very much over the moon. I'm like, Tony Khan's finally done something fucking right. If there's very few people in wrestling that I believe deserve to go out on their own terms on top, and Bryan would be one of them. And like Bryan, I didn't want to have to put Swerve over to go out this time. And now that's maybe unfair bias or whatever, but like, I know because I rip into Bret Hart about it all the time, but for me, Bryan, I think he earned it over the years. But then the follow up, I'm like, Tony Khan surely can't screw this up. Oh my God, man. His first challenge is fucking Twig Jack Perry. Like, I'm like, what the hell? They're going to try
How
to
dare
make
you? It's the TNT champion.
Listen, this scapegoat does nothing for me. My God, I'm just sitting there and it's like.
Does nothing for ratings either. So you're not alone.
What are you doing? You could have had anybody else. Like, what are you doing?
I mean, crap, you already got Christian as a challenger.
Why not? Yeah.
Part of me wonders, though, if that's Bryan Danielson trying to put Jack Perry over.
Absolutely,
it is.
Sure. Oh, it is.
You know, I don't expect
Danielson is
win,
picking his opponents.
Right,
well,
exactly.
Danielson also, by the way, said they fought him tooth and nail because he didn't want to get the title in Wembley.
I believe it.
Yeah, I believe it too. That's not bullshit. I believe it.
He's not a mark for himself. You know what I mean?
Not at all. And that's what I love about him is like, I love Punk, but Punk's a mark for himself. And like I said, he deserves it better than anyone in that particular locker room. He was the most deserving of getting that title and going out on his terms. And it's just though, I'm waiting for the eventual like Birdie showing up in the crowd holding up like "You lied, Dad" signs. You know what I mean? Because he's not coming home anytime soon. They're basically doing the Ric Flair story, where the next match he loses, it's over.
Yeah.
And I like the idea, but I hope it doesn't.
Even though it won't be over, he's going to do like 11, 12 matches a year, it sounds like. So.
Oh, really? I thought it was like he's done.
He always said he was retiring from full-time competition. He's never said, I'm just retiring for good, for all time. Like, he's made it very clear he wants to be like Terry Funk and Jerry Lawler and do a few old-time matches up until he's like 70, if his body can stand it. So,
the thing is, he's probably going to be more active than Roman Reigns was during Roman Reigns.
Oh, I knew you would have to take the Roman dig, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, except he won't deliver the ratings that Roman did.
Not even close.
No, I'm not saying he will, but Bryan's part-time retirement is going to be more active than Roman Reigns' full-time.
It really will.
So, Matthew, have you heard this, though? And we're keeping with wrestling. So I guess there was a plan going back 3 years ago or 2 years ago that MJF and Foley were going to have a program. Foley was going to go to AEW.
I saw there was a quote out that Foley
talked about it. Foley talked about it in an interview, and I listened to it, and I am so sad we didn't get this whole thing. I guess MJF came to him.
Foley.
Yeah, but MJF came to him with 6 weeks of television programming, booked it all out. They purposely have been at conventions. I've seen them at conventions, but they haven't interacted with each other, and they haven't taken pictures for this reason. They were trying to keep this thing safe, and basically, like, Foley was it was 2 Long Island boys. It was Long Island's past and future. And he said, out of everyone that I wanted to retire me, and now you're like, Mick, aren't you already retired for like the 4th time? But
it's very true.
Like, yeah, but he's like, MJF was the one I wanted to finish me in the ring permanently, like career-wise. And oh my God, could you have imagined what we would have got from MJF and Mick Foley? I'm like so sad that this won't happen now. It can't happen. He can barely walk now. He has trouble. I've seen him many times at conventions recently. He can walk, but he's very stunted the way he walks. He walks.
He's got to drop some weight, man.
Yeah, he does.
I'm really worried for Mick Foley's health.
He dropped it all with DDP yoga, and then all of a sudden he ballooned it back up. Like, he dropped a ton with DDP yoga. He dropped like 105, and then he went back up.
He probably stopped.
It's probably all Santa, his Santa lifestyle, But
well, he says he says he put it all on during the pandemic. Like, it really hit him hard. So I mean, I just want Mick Foley to be okay, and it just doesn't. It just doesn't. I don't know that he's gonna be. I really hope he finds the willpower and the resolve to make his changes, because he, listening to his podcast, which is a brilliant podcast called Foley is Fun.
I haven't listened to it yet.
Fantastic. Okay. Absolutely should listen to it.
There's so many podcasts out there. That's why.
There's so many podcasts, y'all. So, but he really articulates on there that he needs a carrot to do that kind of work on his health. And he was really hoping that the Mick Foley's one last match would have been that for him to help motivate him to really get in much better shape and take better care of himself. And that's why I'm most disappointed he won't get to do this, is because now, like, I just need Uncle Mick to find another reason, another motivating goal, if you will, which you would think just like being around 20 extra years for your kids, maybe that would be motivating enough.
Yeah, that would be nice.
But apparently it's not. So, so I hope he finds a tangible goal that he can really work towards for his health's sake. Because he's bigger now than he's ever been. Like he's having mobility issues.
That's what I'm saying. He's having serious mobility issues.
Brutal.
And it's like watching him, you forget how tall Mick Foley is. He's very tall. And but he's big to match the tall now, and you're like, holy jeez. Like it's tough. But
Mick Foley is 59 years old. Mick Foley is younger than Sting.
I know. And that's the thing that's crazy. Do you know I found out Triple H was only 47? What?
What are you talking about?
Somebody put out a thing the other day. He's 47.
What are you talking about?
There's no way he's 47.
He's 55.
Are we sure he's 55?
Yes.
Okay. Then this person put out like really.
He's born in 1969. He's 55 years old.
So how old's The Rock? 52.
The Rock, I think so. I think he's 52, 51.
Austin would be 59.
He's 52. Yeah, he's 52.
Okay, so Austin's 59.
Let's see.
And Goldberg's what?
Yes, 59. Goldberg's always been in his 50s as far as I'm concerned.
I know. It's funny.
He's 57. He's
okay, 57. All right. Yeah, all right.
Well, he's always been a curmudgeon-y old dude. Like that's Goldberg is just a curmudgeon.
Goldberg's been bold as long as I can remember, so he's always looked very similar to how he does now.
Oh, I know.
Goldberg has never looked young.
He's never looked young. Like even
he's
when
never
he
looked
was
young.
In WCW, he looked like he was in his late 40s.
Yes.
Like he was just crazy. But no, I saw this post and it said Triple H 47, and I was like, no way. Triple H is not.
Don't believe everything you see on the internet, my friend.
I was going to say he was 47 about 12 years ago.
There was a time he was 47.
Exactly, you guys. All right.
When he was wrestling Batista at WrestleMania for the last time, he was like 46, 47. So
give me what I want. Batista's so small now.
He's slimmed down.
I actually think it's a wise choice because
it's a very wise choice.
He said himself, like when you're that big, there's only so many roles that you're consistently auditioned for.
Well, it's not even that. Just to maintain that going into, you got to remember Batista came in wrestling older than DDP, I believe.
Yes. He was
I'm
trying to think. He was in his 30s, I think.
He was in his late 30s, wasn't he? Wasn't he in his late 30s?
No. He wasn't in his late 30s because he's 55 now. That means 2002. He was like 33 when he debuted on SmackDown.
You're right.
So he was younger than DDP when he got into it.
You're right. He is younger, but like still, like it's better for you because like, how long do you maintain that if you're not wrestling actively? Do you know what I mean?
Well, also that's a lot of weight to put on your joints and your spine. Like as you get older,
he's also done. I was watching it.
Oh, he's done, dude.
He's done. And he said, "Oh, I knew I was done when I had my last match against Triple H. I just didn't want to tell people that because I wanted to go out on my own, really on my own terms." And
it's kind of funny how he wanted to go out losing to Hunter. Like I didn't get the logic behind that, but it's all right.
I think because he's a pro.
Yeah,
he idolized Hunter too. Yeah,
you put the guy over on your way out because you're not going to be there to make money for the company and they will.
Yeah.
So like you always put that guy over, and Triple H was still doing his thing and was still planning to be around for a little while longer and
unless
also like
Sting.
Yeah. Well,
now
Sting would have. Tony Khan wouldn't let him, is my guess.
And I think that's why he went out against the Young Bucks, because the Young Bucks could take the loss at the time, right? Like they're able to. I don't think they would have wanted to beat Sting either.
No one.
I don't think
no
anybody wanted to beat Sting on
no
that
one
roster.
asked for that match, but I'm glad it went out the way it went out.
Sting did.
So at least I'm happy.
Sting asked for
Yeah,
that
I know.
And you know
Because
what?
that's what
Fair
you
play.
do. You
You're
put
right.
people over on your way. Your job is to make somebody on your way. If you think John Cena is winning his last match, I got a bridge to sell you in Brooklyn.
Absolutely not. I think he'll win his last WrestleMania, but his last match he said is going to be in December.
He's going the whole year, man. So like,
he's going the whole year.
And I'll tell you what, when Roman Reigns is going to retire, he will put somebody over.
I agree with that because Roman is such a
Cody Rhodes will
professional.
put somebody over.
Oh, yep, it's not even a question.
The Rock is going to put somebody over.
The only reason you wouldn't put someone over unless your booker will not let you do it.
Correct.
That is
the reason.
Or you don't know it's your last match.
Right. Absolutely.
Or you've earned it. Like you were just broke the mold. You've earned it. Like if Wembley was if Bryan Danielson's last match was Wembley, let's just hypothetically say, I would have wanted him to go out the same way because I think he's earned it. I think when you have put people over for so long and done selflessness in the business, you deserve that spot. You deserve your flowers. I believe that personally.
I just don't think you couldn't get your flowers if you lost. Like you could get your flowers if you lose. Happens all the time.
You can, but I'm just saying, Sting was the right call to go out on his own terms, and Sting was the right call to go out as a winner.
Sting didn't go out on his own terms because he wanted to lose.
Exactly.
Sting wanted to lose, but they wouldn't let him lose.
Whatever.
The whole point of him not having lost the entire time he was in AEW was to put somebody over in this last match. That was the actual story that should have happened.
Well, Tony Khan said no, and I'm fine with
Sting,
it.
the only undefeated man in the history of AEW for 5 years, basically. Undefeated.
Tony Khan and the Young Bucks did not want him to lose on the way out, so he didn't lose on the way out.
But that was, if you don't think that was Sting's goal the whole time, was like, okay, I'll keep winning, Tony, but only if you let me lose in my last match to make it mean that much more.
Well, if he was going to lose, it should have been Darby that he lost to.
Correct.
Absolutely.
That would have been the match. Like, that's what I assumed. The whole thing was Sting is going to make Darby Allin the biggest star in AEW by making him the guy that retires him. But for some reason...
Now he's the guy who ate real glass and got beat by Jack Perry in Wembley.
There you go.
Fucking ridiculous. But before, I have time. I just don't want to keep you guys all day long. Matthew, I assume you're going to be, or are you guys going to watch Bash at Berlin today?
I will.
I didn't even know it was today, so there's your answer.
Oh, Jesus. All right. Matthew, what are you looking forward to the most, the two matches?
Oh, man. I mean, of course I'm looking forward to Gunther versus Randy Orton.
Yeah.
I think if there was going to be a moment where the building levitated, this could be it. I am so excited to see Gunther in his not hometown, but back in the place where he built his reputation.
Yes.
You know, this is a homecoming as a performer in that sense, and that this is where WXW, he built German independent wrestling and was a leader for years and years and years. They've been with him on this journey since his first match. I can't wait for that reaction. Orton is on fire. These two had a banger at King and Queen of the Ring. So I have every expectation this is going to be one for the history books.
I think so.
And then I think the other match.
We have the same answers.
I mean, the other match I'm looking forward to is the mixed tag match.
Same.
What an incredible story they've been telling. I think the heat for Dirty Dom and Liv is going to be off the charts. I think when Rhea Ripley steps out there, they're going to lose their damn minds.
I am predicting, and you can tell me if I'm wrong.
Go ahead.
I am predicting the faces hit all their mega spots. She gets her hands on Dom, gets him to get some punishment. I still think Liv and Dom run out of Germany with the win.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
I cannot agree with you more. Because they're setting up Dom for that Intercontinental thing.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued to see where that goes.
Yeah.
So I think he beat his dad on TV. I think he's gonna beat Damian Priest and sneak out with the win.
I do too.
And then I think he's gonna win.
Demolished by Braun.
I don't know that he'll make it to Braun. I think he'll make it to the final 4 match. I think it's gonna be Jey Uso and Braun. And I see a lot of people giving Triple H shit for booking like a tournament of multi-man matches.
Yeah.
But I disagree because you
already love that.
protect your guys in a way.
And you're showcasing
that's very interesting. It's also just different.
I like it. I like the idea of like the whittling down, like the, like it's kind of like a Russian nesting doll. Like
exactly.
I love that. That rather than just one-on-one. I love the whole triple threat aspect of. See, I don't always love triple threats, but I love it when determining a contender. I think it has a lot of drama.
I don't hate it.
A lot of drama.
I think you get more people featured, and you can protect guys also. By who takes the fall, who doesn't take the fall. You eliminate the disqualification stuff so you can have more gaga. You can move more stories forward at once. So my predictions are Unholy Union beats Bianca and Jade. Drew McIntyre beats CM Punk.
Yes.
Judgment Day takes over the Terror Twins. Cody beats KO. Gunther beats Randy Orton. I don't think we see any title changes the way that we saw 4 of them last month at SummerSlam.
No. I would change one match that you said. I do think Punk wins against Drew.
Disagree. Hard disagree.
Okay, totally. The other thing is I think Rhea takes the fall.
Interesting. Okay.
She gets her title back from Liv at Bad Blood.
I think it's Rhea versus Dom at Bad Blood. That's me.
Ooh. All right.
I think we're not building towards a Rhea Liv program. We're building towards Rhea versus Dom, in my opinion.
Interesting.
I think if they were ever going to do an intergender match, this is the one.
Yeah, you're right.
He's
He's
the chicken shit heel who is not physically imposing, who is who everybody
very good
wants
in the ring, though. Very good in the ring.
And he'll sell like crazy for her, right? See, here's the thing: if you're doing the China thing, right? Like China wrestled men, so the end game can be Rhea versus Dom.
You're right. It can be. You're 100% right.
It absolutely can be, because you see her getting physical with JD McDonough. You see her
oh man, she fucking.
What a great clothesline he took. So I think the actual payoff for this feud is Rhea versus Dom 1-on-1. That could be Bad Blood. That could be Mania. What a Mania match.
I'm gonna stop because I keep going. I don't know how they have so much juice to get. That is now out of my vernacular.
They keep finding ways.
Triple H has proven that this creative team has proven that they can keep getting things out of them that I never expected.
This is a creative team that thrives at long-term storytelling.
Yeah, they do. They thrive on old school, long-term territorial storytelling. That's the way they do it. Like this could be the NWA instead of WWE. Like that's the way they do it, and they do it.
Nobody thought Judgment Day had 2+ years in them in the spot that they are, and yet look at how it's going. Nobody thought the Bloodline could sustain over 4 years, and look at where they are. So this creative team, this creative engine for WWE can tell stories for years on end.
But last wrestling thing, why do you think Drew's going to beat Punk? And then we can close or whatever you guys want to talk
about. I think Drew is going to beat Punk because Drew is going to end up being Punk's sort of white whale.
Like Samoa Joe.
He's sort of, yeah. Here's the thing. Punk is there to put people over.
Definitely.
Right?
This time around.
Punk is there. Punk is going to be the guy that loses 4 times and wins the 5th match.
Yeah.
Punk does not want 50-50 booking. And I don't think Punk is that guy. And I think that they are very cognizant of what they have with Drew. They have a megastar.
He's magnificent.
They have a megastar. I honestly think the guy that's going to beat Cody for the title could be Drew. So because Drew is the only one to beat Cody in a one-on-one match since Cody's been back, other than Roman, excuse me. Those are the only two guys who have pinned Cody one-on-one.
Wow, so I have not thought of that.
He's the only other guy.
Lesnar's beat him, but not.
Oh, pinned. You're right. Lesnar, sorry, 3 guys.
Lesnar did beat him.
Still pretty good.
Yeah, amazing.
But Cody never got the win back. Cody has never gotten that win back on Drew.
Right. He hasn't. He hasn't.
I think they are doing a phenomenal job building Drew up because I think Bad Blood is going to be the 3rd match, and I would not be shocked if you have Punk lose this one, and then he's got to go for whatever Drew chooses the stipulation to be to get a 3rd match.
Yeah.
Maybe Punk wins the 3rd match, but I don't think he wins the 2nd.
Okay. No, I'm with it. Like, listen, Drew, I've been a big fan of Drew, and this heel Drew is by far the best Drew we've gotten in so many years. When he came out on Raw and he was like, I already know Punk's whole stick. This is where he talks about little Timmy came 285,000 miles to see.
So good.
Oh so my good. God. I was peeing when he sit down. He's like, can I tell you a story? And then when he's like, do I have your attention now? Like, for bringing it back to the pipe bomb. He's so good at what he does. His online trolling character is
good.
Fabulous. It's like no one has
his
seen.
Promos that he puts online. If people are not staying up with Drew McIntyre's social media, they're losing out on parts of the story.
He's so good.
But he's using it so well.
I just thought Punk would get this win back, not for 50-50, just because. You're right. It would be 50-50 because
it'd be 50-50, so it's not over.
He screwed Drew like 4 times in a row.
Yep.
So no, you're right. I keep thinking that they've had more than one match because the way they've interacted so many times, it makes it feel
this storyline's been over 8 months long and it's only had one match.
So do you think you don't see Punk as main event of night 1 of WrestleMania next year?
I think he could be. I think you will get to Punk Rollins at Mania.
I think truly that's where they go. The only reason he re-signed is he got promised night 1 of now that WrestleMania has 2 nights.
I disagree wholeheartedly. I think if he would have demanded that, they would have said no. Because they would have said you haven't changed. And we don't want what you were in the locker room.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
I don't think Punk has an ego, but I don't think that it's that kind of ego.
Drew's too into my head.
There you go. Look at it. It's working.
I'm so excited for today. Just for
it's gonna be a great show.
Owens and Cody. I haven't seen SmackDown yet. I'm assuming KO turns. I'm gonna watch it in a few minutes. Just clip by it.
It's the beginning of the story. Still, you're in Act 1 of that story, so you can't expect it to be what it will be in Act 3. Like. They're going to have their match. That's a feud you could get all the way to Survivor Series.
It's sad because I really think Owens is so underutilized. I love Owens. Like, he hasn't been champ since, 2017? Like, I would love to see him. I would love to see him. You know, Alex and I have talked about it. Alex, I know you're still there, right?
I'm still here.
Okay.
Poor Alex. I'm sorry, Alex.
No, Alex, we've been talking about, like, Cody Rhodes to me was always it was about the moment of finishing the story. It's not about I want to be the next Roman Reigns and go on a 4-year title reign. Like, to me, Cody's the palate cleanser. He's cleansed the palates already. Like, I'm good at this point. I love Cody. I don't think you'll kill him by him losing the title anytime soon. I think he could lose the title. He's made it past SummerSlam, so he's already beat the obligatory Mania to SummerSlam stigma. But it's like, I wouldn't mind Owens winning. I really wouldn't. But it would have to be
it can't be now.
It would have to be a dastardly evil heel Owens doing it. It couldn't be, a frenemy. It would have to be like.
See, I think you're getting Cody versus Randy at Mania, or you're getting Cody versus The Rock at Mania. I think next year we get
at Mania. No.
You could. There's a lot of but here's the thing. There's so many possibilities for Cody as champ. Like, I want to see the Cody versus Randy storyline with the championship.
Too. It has to.
I want to see Cody versus Cena does not actually need the title because that's a passing of the torch thing.
You're right, exactly. So then that could be the final match.
That could be, yeah, maybe he's the one that retires Cena for the final
that I'm okay
match.
with. Because I will say this. Yeah. I want Cena to pick up 17 somehow on that journey. I think it's criminal if he doesn't pick it up.
I don't know. But here's the thing. There's so many great stories to tell. We're along for the ride. I could see Cody lasting a year. I could see him lasting 2 years as champ. There's plenty of fodder. You haven't seen the heel turn yet for Cody, which is
my God,
amazing when it does happen.
You know what I watched the other day, and now I'll shut up. I watched his old TNA ROH stuff. There was a compilation of it when he was a heel when he first left, and MJF totally. I didn't realize this because I wasn't watching.
MJF stole a bunch of shit.
MJF stole his fucking Dynamite Diamond ring gimmick from Cody. That whole thing is Cody's kissing the ring.
Correct.
Man, Cody did it way better too. Way better.
Cody, see, here's the thing. We all think of Cody as a brilliant babyface. Cody is actually going to have a better heel run when it happens. Because everything about his character is a heel. Every single thing about his character.
Even the name, the American Nightmare.
Everything is a heel about that character.
Oh, I can't wait. That's what I want. That's the Cody I want. But
we're going to get it.
Oh, yeah. Brady style.
We're going to get it.
I don't have any more wrestling thoughts, and I don't want to. I dominated this too long. I'm sorry, Alex. But
no, that's fine.
Anyone have anything else they want to talk about? Because I'm game for that too.
I unfortunately I do not have anything left to talk about, as I am running up against time.
Oh, you're running against time. Okay.
I am.
All right. Well, let's do these jam sessions more often when, Alex isn't standing us up and Matthew isn't traveling across the world everywhere.
I'm back I'm firmly planted in New York for the foreseeable future. So
super happy.
The only thing I've got coming up is early November. I'm going to be at North Carolina Comic-Con in Raleigh-Durham. So please, definitely, if you're in the area, come on out. I'll be signing copies of Crashing, doing commissions on my typewriter. Very, very excited to be going down there. That was the first convention I ever went to for Valiant Entertainments way back in 2014. And for the first time, I get to be a guest there. So go to nccomiccon.com, check it out, and I'll see you in November there.
You might see me because I'm looking for a nice little road trip. So I'm thinking maybe I take a trip down to Carolina.
Tremendous area. If you've never been down there, it's a great area. I love Raleigh-Durham.
So I think I'm going to check it out. But
excellent BBQ.
That's all from me. Matthew, thank you so much for joining us again. It feels like, even though it's been a while, we didn't miss any time. Like this is the team jam. This is the way it goes.
Always down for a jam session. Thanks for having me.
Anytime.
Hey, thanks for watching the previous video from Graphic Policy Television. Just by watching, you help support our site. Thank you so much. Now, if you're watching these videos, you probably care about geeky things like movies, television, comic books, toys, games, video games, you name it. You can go and subscribe right now to our YouTube channel to stay in touch and catch all the new videos, or check out our website at graphicpolicy.com. There's a nice link on this end of the video. But as always, thank you for watching. Keep on rocking and keep it geeky.